As we mentioned before, I think one of the premier, if not premier items on the Radiothon roster for this year is you have the opportunity to have lunch with Executive Vice President and General Manager Howie Roseman, Executive Vice President of Football Operations, General Manager Howie Roseman, and to talk about that opportunity and more, it is said General Manager, Mr. Howie Roseman. Howie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. That was a heck of an introduction. Usually, when I meet like 12-year-olds on the street, they just call me Howie. I feel like in Philly, I'm like Bono. Like I got one name.
Well, you know what,
Mr. Roseman.
You've earned it, man. I mean, you brought us a freaking Super Bowl, Howie.
We got to keep proving it, and that's our intention here.
Well,
this year.
Well, and we want to get into this year, but first let's touch on the Radiothon thing, and then we'll get into this season. But this is a really amazing opportunity for people, really once in a lifetime, to get to hang out with you, to pick your brain. I know you did this last year. I have Ryan Hammond coming in as we speak with the current bid right now is at $19,258. Last year, I believe it went for $30,000. Is that correct? So we've got to get this up. Howie, I've also been told that if it goes to a certain number, you would even consider doing this twice, selling off two of those is the intel that I'm getting here. Howie, can you talk about what the opportunity is for people to bid on, and then the potential for maybe another?
I can confirm your sources, which I'm sure is Ryan there. Who is,
You've got my sources pegged.
I like to think I'm persistent and determined, but man, Ryan is unbelievable at her job. Really fortunate to work with her as well, and the things that she does for our community, that they're unbelievable. And so from my perspective, getting an opportunity to sit with our fans and talk about anything that they want to talk about our team, about our decision making, be out there in our facility, give them an opportunity. If they want to watch some tape, come up, watch some tape, whatever they want to do. I found also, when I was in 2015, when I kind of had that year, there's so many overlaps in between what we do and when trying to build our team and trying to build the people that we have on and off the field with what people are doing in their own jobs. There's a lot of overlap. And I can only say that because people told me, because I've never done anything in my life that I got paid for other than football. I'm extremely fortunate. But I do feel like there's a lot of overlap. And it's just it's usually a fun day, great people that I've got an opportunity to meet through this opportunity with Eagles Autism.
Yeah, it's again, I know that if I could afford it, I would absolutely be bidding on it. You and three guests get to enjoy lunch at the NovaCare Complex with Howie Roseman, with Howie. Let's go with that. Learn about weekly game day preparations, the whole thing, super cool. And if we get it to a certain number, I believe you've said you'll do two of them. Is that correct?
How about this? If we get it to a certain number, I'll also give up two of my own personal tickets to a game.
Whoa!
Those seem like they might be good tickets.
Okay, so we need to get it up to a serious number here, because that is pretty awesome, Howie.
For sure.
Okay, awesome.
Whatever we can do.
Everyone heard that. EaglesRadiothon.com to go bid right now on these items, particularly this Howie item. So there are now potential for two winners at this, and also Howie will throw in his own tickets to a game. Really awesome stuff, Howie. Thank you. Let's talk a little football.
Howie, why was it that defense ended up playing the starters in the preseason and the offense did not?
Yeah, I think that we look at kind of some of the things we've done. We look at the things that we can do better here, and we look at the reps that guys have had during camp. And we also look at kind of the systems and what's new, what's kind of players that have played together, what are players that are kind of new in a new defensive system. We felt like it's an opportunity to do that. I think there are two, obviously, different sides of the ball that you're looking to do different things from an execution perspective. And one of the things that we talk about a lot is what's our Eagles brand of football, and there's a mentality that's way. And when you do that on defense, part of that is hitting. And to get that opportunity to do that on defense, Coach Sirianni thought was really important. And having the practice against New England and the offensive players, which we have a lot of players that have had chemistry and have been together for a long time and have had a lot of reps, a lot more reps in this camp that we had with pads on than we've had in the past.
What makes you confident that our pass rush can get home?
I love it. He doesn't even introduce himself.
It's
just like one question after another.
Howie,
Hey,
when it
John,
comes,
how we
I don't
doing?
want to waste your time, Howie.
when it comes to football, he's very serious, Howie.
No foreplay.
Yes.
No foreplay. No, like just the person that we gave. I signed to the biggest fullback deal in the history of the NFL.
Wow, is that true?
Right at it.
We never talk about that. Was that true in the moment? That's wow,
true.
Howie. Thank you for that.
That's
That
true.
is something to remember.
Really?
True.
And now he's stuck here with
player.
us. What a
Holy
thought!
cow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, that's awesome.
You were thinking about the questions to ask me. What was the question again?
What makes you
You got
confident
him all
our pass
flustered, Howie.
rush
This
can
is great.
get home?
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at our pass rushers on the edge, you're talking about, I think Bryce Huff has an NFL history of getting to the quarterback. I don't think that's disputable. He has an ability. He's got vision for the quarterback. He's got a feel for it. On the other side, you got a player in Josh Sweat who has made Pro Bowls as an edge rusher. I have a lot of confidence in both those guys. Obviously, you got another legend in BG, my first draft pick, who all he does is produce when he's in the game. And then after that, you're talking about us having a lot of young guys that we have tremendous faith in. Nolan, when you look at his get-off, his speed, his motor, I tell Connor Barwin, it reminds me a lot of him as a player, kind of a little bit different body types. But when you have that kind of speed, that kind of get-off, and Nolan's a physical player, and his ability to kind of chase with that speed, and those guys are around the quarterback, and excited about Jalix as well. A guy that we drafted in the third round who really, when you look at his tools and his body, obviously a little bit more developmental player, but in all honesty, not as much as we thought when we drafted him. We know that this guy's got a feel for rushing as well. And so you get those guys. And then inside, we think we have one of the best interior rushers in the league, in Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got to go out and prove it, but it is hard to find interior pass rush, and I think that's a huge key in stopping quarterbacks. When you talk about Jordan Davis and his ability to win one-on-one and his ability to push offensive linemen into the backfield, I mean, that's a unique skill set. You also got Milton Williams and Ajomo, and another guy who surprised was Booker. So, I keep them coming. I'll answer them, John. I'll answer them. This is how I feel. Now we got to go prove it.
I got two actually.
And there's no doubt about it. And that starts with me, but that's how I feel about our rushers.
That's awesome. How do you protect against the downward spiral that happened at 10-1 last year? Things occurred that we didn't want to have occur. How do you protect against that this year?
And did you learn any lessons from it as well?
Yeah, I think that you go look and there were a lot of probably learning signs here in the early part of last season and how we played, and I know Coach and his staff were doing whatever they could to prevent that, and we know the history of what happens after you lose in the Super Bowl the way we did, which will always be a chip on my shoulder personally, and I think it starts with me, and how can I do a better job to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again, and so that starts in the off season. I think the tone of our season gets set by our front office and what we can do off the field to help our coaches on the field, and I need to do a better job. And so we went out with kind of a mindset of what we were trying to accomplish in the off season, and we haven't played a game yet, so we'll see if we're able to accomplish that. But had a list of things that we wanted to achieve, and you can never do everything that you want to do. It's just you don't have enough resources to do that, and unfortunately, with the way the salary cap and draft capital works, but encouraged by how the team came together over the spring and summer, and it's a long season, and like I keep saying, we got to go prove it.
Well,
no doubt about it.
Speaking of playing a game, we're a week and a day away from that first one. What do you think? Look, I know the NFL has to go across the pond and do these things to grow the game and all that stuff. But starting the season in Brazil, the first game of the year, obviously giving up a home game and all that, a good home game, but how do you feel about the team having to start the season in Brazil? Kind of, and have you guys thought about like the challenge of starting your season off on something that's so different from a week to week thing for these guys?
Yeah, the first part about that is it always stinks to lose a home game. There's nothing more fun than being in our stadium, being around our fans, having the energy. So I think that's the one thing that you think about, being around family and friends. But at the end of the day, we have this opportunity, it's put in front of us to be the first team to go play in South America in the history of the NFL. We don't vote on that, So I don't think that talking about how it's going to be or what we're thinking is really part of our mindset. The mindset is this is the opportunity we have in front of us. How can we do the best job out there? How can we get our team prepared? How can we make them the most comfortable so that we can put them in a position to play their best?
Howie, you talk about you need to be better. We hear Coach Sirianni talk about 1% improvement every day. What exactly are you focused on improving in your general managing this year? What is your 1%?
I love that you got Coach Sirianni's quote. I look at it as what can I do to help the team? And that's every day. I wake up trying to think about, I know that when I've had my best years, the team has had their best years. I think that there's a correlation to that. In 17, in 22, I felt like we did whatever it took to make sure we put the best team out there. Unfortunately, in 22, just fell a little short. But I think that's a daily grind, and that's every day having the opportunity to improve the team, even if it's incrementally on our roster. And, I give you my word. I promise you that every day I wake up thinking, how can we get better as a football team? How can we get better as an organization? And there's no part of me that is content with anything that we've done in the past. There's a freaking determination that's as great as it was when I first joined this organization. And if I didn't feel that way, I promise I'd let someone else take my job.
Well, Howie, last one, and it's right along those lines, and I think I know what the answer is, but I'm going to ask it. Is it? I assume. I feel like with every year, it's Super Bowl expectations for you guys. Is that your expectations this year with the new coordinators, the changeover? Do you believe this is a team that can go win the Super Bowl?
Well, I think we got to go prove that. I think at the end of the day, though, what I will say is that there is no other goal. Once you taste that confetti, once you stand up there and you hold that trophy, there is no other mindset. There is nothing like, hey, let's win a playoff game and then go have cocktails on the beach, and that's a great season. I just feel like for me, it's got to be like the best feeling that you could ever have, and for our fans and for our team. Certainly for me personally, and so I won't stop until we get back there, and then I hope at the end of it, let's go get another one. So I think that is the ultimate goal. Whether we get there or not, we got a long journey to go. We got to keep this team healthy. We got to come together as a football team, and we got to play really well. So that will be determined.
Well, Howie,
I love that.
Yeah,
there is no other goal.
That's it, buddy. I'm so with you, and again, thank you from all of Philadelphia for getting us over that mountaintop the first time, and I know we'd all love to get back there. Again, Eagles Executive Vice President of Football Operations and General Manager. That's what I was about to say. I was going to say Howie Roseman, but you could just call him Howie. So, and again, your opportunity to spend the day with Howie, spend lunch with him, EaglesRadiothon.com. You can have lunch with you and 3 guests with Howie Roseman, the NovaCare Complex, pick his brain, all the great stuff, plus his tickets to a game on the line as well. Let's get those bids up. Howie, again, thank you for taking the time, man. We really appreciate it, and good luck this season.
Go Birds.
Go Birds, baby. Love it.
Thank you.
All right. We did not do Times Yours, obviously, with Howie there, but Times Yours is usually brought to you by Xfinity Mobile, the sponsor of WIP's Xfinity Mobile Lounge. Xfinity Mobile customers now get exclusive access to Wi-Fi speeds up to a gig on the go. All right, we got to get out of here. Thank you to Ben Davis, Joe Wechter, Devin Caney, John Ritchie, Howard Eskin, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni. What a show. Thank you. Or excuse me, not Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman. Thank you, Nick Sirianni, for coming on the afternoon show yesterday. Thank you to everyone. Keep it here all day. Again, EaglesRadiothon.com. All kinds of items to bid on. All kinds of opportunities for once-in-a-lifetime experiences, and it's all 100% to help a great cause. So get on the line now. Get online now and donate to EaglesRadiothon.com. Again, thank you to everyone who listened. Joe and Hugh coming up next. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.